Hi, everybody. My name is Scott Kriebel, and I will be your GS120 uh, facilitator or teacher over this next semester. And I just wanted to record this video to kind of help you navigate around the pathway class so that you can familiarize yourself with how to get around and understand the requirements of the class and just kind of basically introduce myself and kind of get acquainted with you all a little bit. When you anyway, when you log into the GS120 classroom, this should be the screen that you see. And this is very similar to the iLearn 3.0 program that BYU Idaho Online uses for all of their classes. And so if you continue with the pathway program and eventually move to getting a bachelor's degree from BYU Idaho, you'll be very familiar with the way that the classes are set up because the pathway program is kind of mirrors the way the BYU Idaho classes are organized. Um, but anyway, as you can see, this is kind of the home page and the announcements. All the announcements that I will be making will be listed here. And this is the first one, just kind of introduce myself and kind of share a little bit about me and who I am. And I look forward to getting to know each of you as you make your introduction postings on the discussion board. But I wanted to kind of show you how to get email a notification of these announcements. So when you log in up here, up at the top right-hand corner, you'll see your name. And if you click on that drop-down box, you'll see an element called notifications. And if you click on that, you'll be able to see all the options of where you can select how to be notified, whether it's via email or via text, and what you would like to be notified by. So, for example, unless you put your mobile number in, which I haven't done for this pathway class, the text options will not be highlighted. So, for example, here I'll put in my cell phone number, and I have no problem with you seeing this because I've given it out to all of you, and you can more than welcome use it to get a hold of me, whether by phone or by text. It will ask you for a confirmation code, which will be sent to your mobile device, and mine hasn't come through quite yet, but I'm sure it will very soon. And once you receive it, then here it is. You can just enter that in so that it confirms that the device is actually in your possession. And see, now you can see that all of the options for text notifications have become available. So I prefer to get all of my notifications via email. So I will be highlighting all of the email boxes. And this will be a little redundant because I'm the only one that will be making either announcements or content changes or the discussion. I do like to receive all notifications of any time you guys post the discussion board so I can follow up with any questions that you may have. But anyway, after you select all of the options that you want to be notified for, then you just click save, and then you should receive emails whenever I post an announcement or if there are any content changes, or if you had selected the option to be notified of any new postings to the discussion boards, then you'll get an email for that as well. All right, and so up at the top, you've got a menu to kind of navigate around, and we're going to go to the content section. And the content section basically shows you each lesson, and each lesson coincides with a week. And so we are on lesson 1, which is basically introduction. And this gives you all the dates and all the content that you should read, the quizzes that you need to take that you'll be graded upon. And it also gives you an approximation of how long it should take you to do this work. So here you can see that there's some instructions that kind of talk you through um, this quiz called Mark the Beginning. And once you start taking the quiz, this is very open-ended. It's not a quiz that's supposed to test you on any knowledge. It's just kind of help you reflect on some things. You will receive full points for finishing it, but so make sure you press submit after you've completed it so that you get graded properly for it. And that's just an example of how the assignments will work in the pathway class. Um, and and you'll see that throughout the semester there'll be opportunities to read, take a quiz. You won't have to buy any textbook because all the content that you'll be needing to read and you'll be tested upon is self-contained within the class. Okay, so here's another another lesson, and once you click on that link, here it takes you to the directions. So this kind of explains that each lesson will begin with material and then quiz page. And as you kind of go through this material, excuse me, I'm going to close that. As you kind of go through the material and the videos, once you finish all of that, then you can go to the quiz and you can take the quiz. Now, once you start the quiz, you can't really exit otherwise without submitting all of your questions. So if you accidentally close the quiz out, it will record your score for that quiz at that time, and you can take it again, but it will average your scores once you take it again. So please be very careful. Do not start the quiz until you're absolutely ready to take it, and make sure you're in a quiet place and you can complete it without any interruption, without any accidental clicks. Okay, so just be aware that if you do close it, it will record that score. You may retake it again, but then your second score will be averaged with your first score. All right, so this is basically the way that all of the pre-gathering lessons are designed. And here you've got again, you've got a Mark the Beginning kind of lesson that needs to be done by September 24th. And then you've got another material and quiz that's due September 17th. So you can see all these due dates. And look at these times here, these times at 11 o'clock p.m. All of these times are Mountain Time. Okay, so make sure you get, make sure you understand that the times listed here are not your time zone, but they are the time zone of BYU Idaho, which is Mountain Time. Okay, so no matter where you are in the world or in the country, just note that the times reflect Mountain Time. Okay, so that's the pre-gathering. So make sure you get all this done before your gathering. And then once you are at the gathering, everybody will need to submit an attendance report to show that you actually were at the gathering. It is a on your honor kind of system. But if I don't receive your attendance report, then you will not get credit for being at the gathering. Okay, and then let's see, and then you've got a post-gathering activity. So after you've been at the gathering, and some of the due dates don't necessarily coincide with the gathering due dates, because you can see some of these assignments are due on the 17th, which might very well be after or before your gathering ends. But although these are all on Saturdays, so you should be okay. But make sure you spend the time to finish all of these assignments that will be required after you've gone to your gathering. And again, they will be all due. These will all be due this Saturday. There's no lesson enhancement for this lesson. Then we go on to the next week. Again, there'll be additional materials and quizzes, more initial postings that you'll have to do. and that's all in the pre-gathering section. Again, in an attendance report for your gathering that'll be due next week on the 24th, which is Saturday, and then make sure you do the post-gathering. So you can see the time requirements kind of vary from week to week, but the organization of the work basically stays the same. And so does the time frame. So you can see most other assignments are all due at 11 o'clock p.m. And again, that's Mountain Time. Okay. So so that's about it. And we've got the discussion board. And for those of you that maybe haven't already posted your introduction posting, this is what it looks like. Here you've got a question and conversation section. So if you have any questions about the class, feel free to post it there. This is kind of a a break the ice type of question. If you could be any kind of animal, what would you be and why? You obviously aren't graded on that. You aren't required to put anything there. And then the rest of this is all done by lesson. So here, the first lesson, the first week's lesson is just to introduce yourself. There's a discussion board. So after Saturday at 11 p.m. will be locked, which means you won't be able to post any more discussion. So please make sure you do your introduction discussion, and please respond to two of your team member or two of your classmates' postings, so that so you can get full credit for participation. I will. My goal is to actually respond to each of your introduction postings myself and comment a bit. Okay, so hopefully you'll see that throughout the week. And then we will all each be assigned to a group. I can see all 5 groups, but you should only see the group that you have been assigned to. Okay, and so you will be posting all of your group discussion comments to that specific group's thread, and then you'll be making postings within that thread. Okay. This is where you'll find your grades. Your grades will be live, so as I will update grades every week, usually by the beginning of the week, and so you should be able to see where you are. Please let me know if you have any struggles with the class. I give you my email address and my phone number so that you can contact me anytime should you have any trouble with the material. I know many of you probably haven't been in school for a while, but this class really kind of helps you kind of gradually get into the rigor of college work. And so hopefully you shouldn't see anything that is too overwhelming in this class. But if you are having any struggles, please reach out. And I will be monitoring grades to reach out to you specifically if I see that you're having some trouble. Okay. The calendar will show all of the assignments and when they're due. Okay, again, this is all Mountain Time. Okay, so make sure you do your introduction postings by the 14th, which is tomorrow at 11 p.m. And make sure you do mark the beginning, do that reading and quiz by September 14th as well. Okay, and then on, let's just look at the week view. And then you can see all of the rest of the assignments that are due by the end of day on the 17th. Okay. All right, and you can see all the different views. So the list view can be very helpful because this gives you all of the due dates. And actually, I think this is actually when it's available. So just be careful when you're looking at the list view, because you can see that this date and time is when it's due, whereas for this assignment, this is when it becomes available. So it looks like most of the material will become available the Thursday before the week begins. So on the 15th, you'll have the second week's material becoming available, and then when you get down to the 22nd, the third week's material will become available. So if you want to, for those of you that want to get ahead, just know that every Thursday is when the new material becomes available for you to get started. All right, so I think that's all I really wanted to kind of go over with regards to the navigation of the class. If you have any questions, Here's the one thing I probably should go over real quick is the syllabus, just so that you kind of know how things are going to be graded. Um, is you a brief description of the class and what its purpose is, and the assignments that we've kind of already talked about. Um, I do want to kind of go over how the grading is going to work. So here you can see that your attendance to the gathering is worth 30% of your grade. The lesson material and quizzes are only worth 20%. So those two comprise about half of your grade. Your discussion board participation and teaching a friend assignments are worth 7% and 10% respectively. And then your application activity and your learning report are the final 33%. So, uh, so that's how the class is graded. So clearly, you want to focus on everything, but please make sure that you attend your weekly gatherings and do your lesson material and comprehensive quizzes as well as your application activities. Because if you don't do those three, those being the more weightier components of your grade's going to suffer pretty significantly. Okay. All right, late work. So make sure you submit your work on time. If you have a situation which you need to submit your work later, let me know. Okay. You'll see that once you get into BYU Idaho and you start taking those classes are very strict, no late work allowed policies. So I will be working with you, but as this says, beginning in lesson 4, which is week 4, if you submit late work, I will reduce your grade accordingly. So please do not submit any late work as best you can. The discussion board activities, no late work will be accepted for those because those have to be done in a timely manner because they're interactive in nature. So, so don't expect to be able to go back and start posting things beginning in week 1. You won't be allowed to. So please stay up with the discussion board postings. But in terms of the quizzes and other work that is done outside of the discussion boards, I might be able to work with you. But once we get into week 4, you will be penalized for any work that you've submitted. The honor code is enforced all the time. Please make sure you do your own work. You must avoid all academic dishonesty and misconduct, including plagiarism, cheating, or fabrication or falsification. Okay, so that coincides with the honor code. So you must live and participate in the class by that code, and that's really no different than any other university or education program. All right. Okay, so I think that's about all that I wanted to go over. If you have any questions at all with regards to the course setup, the gatherings, I don't have a lot of influence with regards to the gatherings aside from receiving your attendance report. So any specific questions about the gatherings, you might be best directed to the pathway missionaries in your area. Otherwise, I can assist you with anything with respect to the attendance report, any other assignments that are due through this class with regards to the gatherings. But other than that, I hope we have a fantastic semester. I'm looking forward to getting to know each of you. And please feel free to contact me if you have any questions. Take care.